They call me Dan, the Lakers fan. And I got a master plan for the Lakers back to the promised land. Spread the vision through my people, cause we fans are equals. When we reach 20K subs, yeah, we gon' drop a sequel. Another Laker anthem track, watch me run it back. Got the keys to the city where my Laker jet.
Good morning, family and NBA world, Lakers family. How y'all doing today? Man, we woke up to some breaking news today. First and foremost, we're going to start with the positive. The Lakers have traded up in the draft. The Lakers are moving up in the second round of the NBA draft tonight, acquiring the 45th pick from the Chicago Bulls for the number 55th pick and cash considerations. Okay, so essentially what this did to the Lakers is it hard capped us at the second apron, which means we can't acquire no more picks or nothing like that for now, right? I think the second apron is at $207 million or something like that, which is where the Lakers are at. So I am expecting trades and moves to happen and stuff like that. But the Lakers like somebody, and I'm going to mention some names that should be point of interest to look forward to in the draft, which I will be covering later on tonight. What's up, Kimmy Goats? Good morning. How you doing, Die Hard? Good to see you guys, man. So, yeah, there's some names. I'm going to get into those towards the later on in the video. But for now, I want to talk about probably the most important news here that happened today. And that is that Austin Reeves formally declined a 4-year, $89.2 million max extension offer from our Los Angeles Lakers earlier this week, as reported by league sources. Okay. And of course, it's going to fuel speculation on a lot of stuff. It's going to fuel a lot of speculation on whether he's going to get dealt, is he worth that money, and all that good stuff. Hey, what up, Laker girl? Good to see you. Good morning. But here are my thoughts on the situation. I'm going to attempt to explain a little bit more why he got dealt. He said most of the good bigs are gone, so it may not be a big at the draft. I still got a couple names up here. D3, I got a couple names I'm going to share with you guys, so stay tuned. I got you. But yeah, of course, first round is they're obviously going to take most of the good bigs, but we'll see. All right, let's talk about Austin Reeves and why he potentially rejected his 4-year, $89.2 million extension. All right, first of all, to me, this is him betting on himself. All right, he's currently in the third year of his $53.8 million contract extension, which he signed in 2023, with the player option for next summer, 2026, 2027, right? That player option is worth $14.9 million. He's worth way more than that. All right. But by declining this extension, he's poised to become an unrestricted free agent in the summer of 2026. Now, analysts project he could command a starting salary of around $30 million annually, potentially reaching all the way up to $42.5 million per year, which is significantly higher than the $19.9 million salary that the Lakers extended per year, right? Now, here's the reason the Lakers can only offer 89.9, and that is the CBA. All right, and the CBA limits the Lakers to offering 140% of his previous salary or league average players, right? Which caps their extension at 89.2. So the Lakers didn't lowball him; they gave him everything they could. We expected Austin Reeves to reject the offer. Obviously, Reeves, he had a breakout year last year, averaging 20.2 points, 4 rebounds, and 5.8 assists. What he's doing here is he's betting on himself to continue the trajectory, and make big money here. All right, instead of accepting the $19 million a year that the CBA limits to, if he opts out, the Lakers could offer more. All right, it's that simple. And that is why he declined ultimately. Now, could that actually push the Lakers towards including him in a package for a big man, assuming they can't get one here in the draft and in free agency? Yeah, it could. Technically, it could. It could say, well, we don't think he's worth that much, and let's go ahead and deal him now before we have to pay him the big bucks, and then he ends up being one of these contracts like Jordan Poole, who ends up not living up to the hype. Now, I personally do not think he won't live up to the hype. I love Austin Reeves, and I think he'll be great moving forward. I think career-wise, he could become a 23 points per game scorer. It's only 3 points away from what he's averaging now. And remember, he was trending up when Luka got traded here. Now, here's my only concern. Yes, he's betting on himself, and I love that about it. Despite the toe injury and the playoff performance, he's expressed his confidence in growth and getting better. And his agent, Aaron Riley, has hinted that he's going to put on a show this year. So, I mean, this all points to that. They believe in him. He believes in himself. Can't be mad at the kid for that. Problem becomes now, if we get a good trade offer, I think the Lakers will be a little bit more motivated to include his contract in there, right? Because we don't know if he's worth 42 mil. It's a riskier contract. Now, if he was to take like the minimum, which is like 30 mil, if he opts out, then that wouldn't be so much of a risk. But honestly, we don't know what Austin Reeves is going to command on the open market, and the Lakers will have to match that. So, yeah, it's definitely intriguing to say the least. Richard, I appreciate you, man. How you doing? He said, "What's up, Dan? Hope you're doing well this morning." Dan, I hope it's a center. We traded our 55th pick to 45. Isn't much of a difference. I hope we make a move. I have some centers here in mind that definitely intrigue me. There's a 7'3" center that I'm going to talk about that a couple of the analysts are talking about. So, but again, we have a couple of topics of conversation. Especially Dorian Finney-Smith potentially opting out. There's a report coming out today that Dorian Finney-Smith is considering declining his player option with our Lakers and entering free agency. Okay, if that happens, we don't have a lot of cap space, a lot of wiggle room to pay him what he's going to command, 20+ million. We don't have too much, so he's likely gone if that happens, right? And that would be unfortunate. That would be unfortunate because DFS, even though he didn't have a good playoffs and he had an okay season, he's a good player. He's a good two-way player, and maybe another year under the Lakers would have been great. I hope this rumor is false and he opts in, and that allows us a little bit more flexibility because people forget just because he opts out doesn't mean we all of a sudden have 15 million to go spend on somebody else. We're hard capped at the second apron right now. Now, if he does opt out and he gets extended, yeah, that's a good thing because now we got him for the long term. I want him to stay personally. What do you guys think of DFS? I want to know. He said, "Pool straight, damn chill. I think he will be good, especially since the deal looks fine at 30 mil in today's NBA." I am chill, bro. All I'm going to say is Austin Reeves is betting on himself, and I hope it pays off for him. Right? He's betting on himself. I hope the Lakers, if we do keep him, we extend him on a long-term deal, and it pays off for him and for the Lakers as well. You know? Wait, are you serious, Diehard? Damn. If that's true, and it's not a troll, that's funny, bro. Damn, that's crazy. DFS opt out and extend. He's not going to leave. We'll see. We'll see. Less over 2 years, think Van Vliet, but not that drastic. I like DFS. He deserves another season to see what he can do. Yeah, you know what? I think a full season with the Lakers would be a lot better. The role is intriguing to me because he might say, well, they chose Rui over me, so I'm leaving. He lost his starting job, or he never really had. Like, he had it for a little bit when Rui got hurt, but then Rui got it back, right? So, it's intriguing. We need him back though because we need all the options we can get. And then, of course, yes, that's right. D free, but money talks. Remember that money talks. But yeah, it would be great to bring him back also because of that, because he has a good relationship with Luka the Don, for sure. But yeah, guys, the Lakers have moved up in this year's NBA draft from 55 to 45. All right, and there's a couple of players that are really intriguing. Who do you guys like from the draft? Right, I really like Ryan Kalbrenner out of Creighton. All right, 7'1" center. All right, 4-time Big East Defensive Player of the Year. All right, Kalbrenner definitely offers rim protection. He's 7'1". We need a 7-footer, so he would be an awesome option. Okay, that's just one name. All right, Roko. Let's see if I can say this right. Sikarski. All right, people are talking about him on Twitter. Haven't really seen much of his game, but what they're saying is that he's one of the most intriguing big man prospects due to his size. He's 7'3". He has athleticism, and he's got potential to switch and defend multiple positions because of that. That's crazy, right? He has a massive frame, which makes him a natural rim protection and a lob threat, according to multiple reports. All right, these are the NBA bigs that he's compared to. Isaiah Hartenstein, except he's 7'3". Derek Lively and Zach Edey. Those are all great comparisons, guys. So look out for this guy right here, Roko Zikarski. All right. Very intriguing prospect. Again, that's just one of them. But they're saying he's surprisingly mobile for his size. Again, I haven't seen him play much, but it's just a name that I'm hearing. He has vertical pop, making him a dynamic finisher in transition. I have the scouting report right here. His agility allows him to potentially switch onto guards in certain defensive scenarios. A rare trait for a 7'3" center. That to me sounds really good. Again, I haven't seen him play much. I got to say here in light of the good people, but yeah, I mean, it's intriguing, right? We'll see. Rhino says, Dan, why are some Laker fans freaking out when DFS has declined their option? They just want big contracts. I do think they ain't leaving the Lakers. Well, it's probably because the Lakers have limited cap flexibility and we already hard capped at the second apron because of the trade for the second round pick tonight. But I do believe there are some moves on the horizon, which is why the Lakers made this move regardless. And they must really like somebody, right? Let's see. Mario says Rocco is an Aussie. He's got raw talent. Could be a good one. Very athletic. I have to look more into him. I have more information for you guys later on during the draft special for the second round. But hey, we got something to look forward to. The Lakers moving up in the draft. And the Lakers always do this. We either buy a pick or we move up in the draft. They like somebody. When they like somebody, they act on it. And the fact that they were willing to get hard cap, at least for the moment being, to move up to get that 45th pick from the Chicago Bulls, then that tells you that they like somebody. Johnny Broom is still available, center out of Auburn. All right. He's a great rebounder. And he's got solid offensive skill. Eric Dixon out of Villanova. He's more of a forward though, but he's definitely a versatile scorer. He's not that athletic, but he's solid. And then Rasheer Fleming. All right, 6'8" forward with a 7'5" wingspan. All right, you want to talk about small ball? He's known for his physicality and defensive versatility. He shot 39% from three last season, which makes him a candidate to be a 3-and-D guy. Now, however, the Lakers must really like somebody or a couple of players, because to move up in a draft where potentially the player is too young to play, there's got to be somebody who's NBA ready now, right? Yeah, hey, there's some real options there. There's still some real options. There's still some real options there. Let's see. Reeves declined. Yeah, Reeves declined his contract. He's betting on himself, yo. The CBA only lets us offer 140% of his current contract, which capped us at $89 million. We're not lowballing him, right? But $90 million is the maximum we could offer due to the CBA. However, if he opts out and we go into free agency next summer, we can offer him more. We can offer him, all the way up to, I think, 42.5 or something like that. So he's betting on himself, all right, to be a $30 million plus player. And he can pay off because you know what? I think he is going to have a big year next year. However, if the right trade comes along, let's see what happens, because the Lakers have been known to make a splash. Let's see. Can we still trade a player since we in the second apron? Well, we're hard capped. We're more limited. We can't do things like accumulate more salary. There's certain things we cannot do, right? It's very complicated, man. But I don't believe the Lakers will stay in that second apron. If they make a deal and get under that, then we could be, there's something that they know that we don't. There might be something coming up here. I don't see us going into the season not having our full mid-level exception to offer, not having that many mid-level or whatever the penalties are for that second CBA. But yeah, obviously we're just entering free agency in a couple of days. Lakers are going to want to be under that second apron to have the maximum flexibility. Will they get under that? TBD. But as of right now, yes, we're hard capped at the second apron with this move. So they must have really liked one of the players available in the draft to move up from 55 to 45, right? And again, I mentioned some names. Rashard Fleming out of St. Joseph. Maxine Raynaud is somebody they're talking about. 7'1" center with a 9.2 standing reach, all right? Now, apparently he impressed in the draft combine with his floor spacing ability and defensive presence. So he's a solid passer. He can make shots. He could be a potential plug-and-play big, right? He's projected to go early in the second round, though. So hopefully somebody like Boston doesn't pick him off before the Lakers can have a chance. But there's some names. My guy said just means the Lakers can't enter the second apron, which they weren't going to do anyways. Dan, do you think Reeves might overpay his hand and end up like Dennis Schroeder? No, Reeves is much more skilled. Reeves is much more skilled. He's 27, guys. He's still young, and he's still getting better. If you look at his trajectory, every year he gets better. He improves. I still think he has a couple points to go up on. I think he, so especially playing alongside Luka, Luka commands so much attention, double teams that Austin, assuming he starts, is going to get wide open looks. All you got to do is knock him down. He moves well without the basketball. My only concern is I would much prefer Austin off the bench, which I don't think he's going to do now that he's on a contract year. So those are things to consider if the Lakers are planning on trading, right? Those are all things to consider. He said, yeah, you also want to win and not have to move your family across the country. That's true. That is true. I mean, it's the Lakers. He said he wants to retire here. He's saying all the good things, but things can change. And I just don't want people to be surprised if they do, right? That's why I'm kind of staying neutral in the situation. Is he a candidate to get traded? Depends on who becomes available. Is it Bam? Is it Jaylen Brown? Anybody like that? Then yes, he would become a prime candidate to get traded. But I don't think the Lakers would just flip him for a bunch of role players or draft picks just because he declined this player option. It was most likely going to happen. He was going to decline due to the CBA limitations. With the Lakers, just for clarification, the Lakers did not disrespect Austin Reeves. They offered him the most they could. All right. What up, bro? Do you think this makes the chance of trading Reeves higher since we feel like we can't get a deal done? No, you know what I think? That's a good question, Eddie. How you doing today? What I think is the Lakers doing what they have to do. They're showing that, hey, we're willing to give you the max. Here's the offer. I think the Lakers expected it to be turned down because Austin is a very confident young man. But I think, Austin betting on himself. This could also cost him a lot of money. What happens if Austin comes out and has a really crappy year? I don't think he goes lower than 19 mil, but you never know. Or worse, he gets injured or something crazy happens, right? So hopefully everything goes good. But he's betting on himself to be a $30 million plus player, and I think he's going to win that bet. And so the ball will be in the court of the Lakers. Hey, man, can we meet somewhere in the middle, give you maybe like $38 million a year instead of giving you the full 42, just to give us a little bit more flexibility? That'll be up to Austin if he wants to take it. I think there will be a team out there that's desperate enough to pay him 42 mil. So there will be competition. Lakers have to weigh in all their options, right? And again, if a player of a high caliber becomes available from here till the trade deadline, then anything's possible. But AR has more value now that a team would be able to acquire him and get him for a full season than halfway through the year, just to let you guys know. So is there a chance you could get traded? Sure. Is it likely? Probably not, but there's a chance. There's always a chance, right? Hey, Dan, how are you? Could the Lakers get Brook Lopez? Brook Lopez has been a primary target this offseason already. All right. There's been rumors of, behind the scenes talks going on already. So, yeah, there is a chance. Brook Lopez, names like Clint Capella have surfaced. There's definitely a couple of names that have surfaced for sure. Let's see. Larry says Bam will make sense. We'll trade for Bam, sign and trade. I would love Bam Adebayo, but one thing I'll tell you about Pat Riley, he's very intelligent, and he's not going to trade Bam just to trade him. He's going to want a lot for Bam. That's his prized possession, man. That's his baby. He drafted him. Him and Tyler Hero, them the two most coveted pieces on Miami, right? They also have a couple other pieces. It's been rumored Andrew Wiggins, stuff like that. Good players, but Bam is just Bam. There's only one Bam. High-energy guy who can space the floor, rebound, and finish inside around the paint. But also put the ball on the floor. Has become better at pulling up from the mid-range. Bam, he showcased his true talent during his stint with Team USA, and we saw the chemistry between him and LeBron. He would be a dream scenario. But, again, I don't expect Bam to get traded unless Bam comes out and says he's demanding a trade specifically to said teams. So let's see here. I think Lopez is too old now. He's still good, nowhere near what he used to be. I think Brook Lopez would be a good backup center. But when I'm starting for me, he would be all right starting, but he's not somebody that really I'd be, head over heels for in the starting lineup. Just saying. AR-15 is a tier 3 star player, and if you see the return for Desmond Bane, I'm sorry, I think AR is as good as gone, especially when you have Luka. The reality is LA needs a new GM. Bam is not all that. Bam is all that. Bam is really damn good, man. Bam is really, really damn good. I just think he's on the wrong team right now. You get Bam in pick and rolls with Luka offensively, and then defensively, he covers up a lot. He's a bit undersized. I like him better at the 4, but you could play him at the 5. Bam is pretty solid. As far as your claim that AR is a 3rd-tier star, I say more like a 2nd-tier star. 2nd-tier all-star. I won't say 3rd tier. I wouldn't say that. 2nd tier, I'll give you that. He's definitely not a 1st-tier all-star yet, but he could become that this year. But he's a 2nd-tier all-star for sure. Right? He's one of those players that are always on the fringe of making the all-star, and sometimes they make it and sometimes they don't. This is the guy that you get as an injury reserve replacement. That's where Austin Reeves is right now. But he has the potential to elevate himself, especially since he's on a contract year. And if you look at his trend, every year he gets better, right? Brooks is 80% of what Miles Turner currently is. Some strengths, some weaknesses. Turner is just more athletic and younger. Yeah, because Brook Lopez, what is he, 35, 36? He's getting older. My main concern is if you log in heavy minutes with a big like that, I'm talking 30-plus a night, he can get hurt, and then you're left with nothing. So I would much prefer to get him on the cheap and then acquire another big via trade. If we can sign him on the cheap, I'm good with it. I'm not sure why we keep comparing Desmond Bane's return to Austin could get. One is locked up. Orlando had to pay the first to drop KCP, and Bane is one of the best shooters in the NBA. Well, probably because D-Free, they both have good skill sets. While Desmond Bane is a better shooter and one of the best in the NBA, Austin Reeves is a great ball handler and playmaker, much better than Desmond Bane. He's also an elite scorer. He's a very good scorer. I think people forget during the playoffs how good he was because he was hurt in the playoffs. But I think it's good that people could. I think Austin Reeves could command you similar to what Desmond Bane commanded, but maybe one first-round pick less. It's not a huge difference, right? Austin Reeves is pretty solid, man, and I don't think he gets the due and the respect. He said, from everywhere, off the dribble, off screens, mid-ranges, that's the biggest weakness of Orlando. They were dead last in the league and valued him highly, and that's not all the same. It's not the same, but we can compare players at two different calibers, right? It's not like a huge leap from Desmond Bane to Austin. He's a great shooter, all right, solid defender. But like I said, Austin Reeves, better playmaker. I believe better at creating for himself and teammates off the dribble. Austin is very elite for what he brings. Now, what he doesn't bring, sometimes he's undersized depending on the switches and the matchups. He can guard small. He cannot, I repeat, he cannot guard small forwards. He can guard ones and some twos. And that is the downside of Austin Reeves. That's why a lot of us want him coming off the bench. Yeah, I thought so. I thought they were trolling Die Hard because if I didn't hear it, it probably didn't happen. But I appreciate you for clarifying that up. I was like, yeah, I kind of figured. I figured it was a troll. Appreciate you, though, bro. So when AR is healthy, he is super clutch, too. People underrate this quality. Bang. 110% agree with that. And again, we cannot have short-term memory loss and forget what he did for us last season. He was great. He was a third star last season. And sometimes, let's be honest, sometimes he was the second best star last season, which is partially why AD probably got traded, because AD sometimes was amazing. AD started off last year amazing and then kind of fell off a little bit as the year progressed, and then picked it back up when LeBron got hurt, right? So it's like I felt like Austin had a steady regular season while AD was like this, right? And I thought that was the biggest difference. Austin at times looked like the second best player, let's be honest, a lot of the times. Until we got Luka, obviously, he became the first best player, and then LeBron, and then Austin, right? Dan, when do you think we make a move? If you're just tuning in, we just made a move. We traded up from the 55th pick to the 45th pick, right? We added some cash considerations. We hard capped ourselves at the second apron. Lakers like somebody in this draft. Very exciting. Very, very exciting to hear that because, when that happens, when the Lakers like somebody, sometimes it pans out. We've moved up before in the draft and we acquired some pretty solid talent. So I am excited about that tonight, and I will be breaking down the draft with you guys later on at 5, both here and on Playback. If you guys need a VIP pass, make sure to download Playback. Don't stay back. There's only about 25 free VIP passes to watch along with me and the best community out there. Also, I will be here for those of you that don't have a VIP pass or don't want to download the app. I will be live here on this channel. Let's see. Bane is also a good playmaker. He averaged 5 assists per game, and he is the key thing that Orlando valued that highly. So it's not much of a player is how much you're worth. I disagree with you. I do believe Desmond Bane was a better playmaker only because he was a primary playmaker, meaning John Morant missed a lot of time with the Grizzlies, and therefore Desmond Bane was able to flourish a little bit more. He will not be the same playmaker. He will not average those same numbers in Orlando, where he will be the third option behind Franz Wagner and behind Paolo Banchero. Why? Because those guys will be holding the ball more, right? He was able to handle a lot more, especially due to the injuries and the suspensions that happened in Memphis. So he flourished there. But I still believe Austin is way better of a playmaker. And mind you, Austin also was a third option as far as, how many touches he got. AD and LeBron by far got way more touches. Although, towards the back end of AD's Laker career, right before we traded him, Austin was handling the ball a lot more last season. But still, I believe Austin Reeves is a much better playmaker and a better face-up scorer off the dribble, while Desmond Bane's a better shooter and a better defender. So you're right about one thing, though. It is about player values and how they value. And last I checked, Austin Reeves had a lot of value around the NBA. Tons of value. Almost every trade deadline, when the Lakers try to make a trade, Austin Reeves' name would always come up, and the Lakers would always block that trade, right? So, yeah. They wouldn't even entertain the Austin Reeves trade. This is the first time that we're actually talking about potentially trading Austin Reeves. While I do think that they're equivalent tiers of players, it's not the same situation at all. Well, no situation is the same situation. But the Lakers, if they're going to ask for Austin Reeves, you got to ask for a premium return. You cannot just offload Austin Reeves just to offload Austin Reeves. In that case, you're better off just paying him whatever he's going to ask for next summer. Right? If you're thinking just offloading him just to offload him, you're better off holding on. Dan, if you was the GM, who would you trade for? Well, I'm swinging for the fences for Walker Kessler. If that doesn't work, I'm kicking the tires on Jaylen Brown and Bam Adebayo. If that doesn't work, I'm looking into free agency, and I'm trying to clear cap space to get somebody like a Naz Reid, right? It's going to be really tough, though. Trying to see if LeBron can maybe opt out and take a pay cut, but from what I'm hearing, he's most likely going to opt in. Dorian Finney-Smith likely trying to opt out and make more money. All right, so that's going to hurt us in our pursuit of free agents. But I'm kicking the tires on everything if I was a GM. Let's see. Mamba says, what are your thoughts on the Mark Williams trade now? Do you still feel the same way? I think we should have rescinded I think we shouldn't have rescinded the trade. Man, we were paying a premium. We were paying 2 draft picks, 2 first-round draft picks at that, and Dalton Connect. That's essentially 3 draft picks. For damaged goods, I still feel the same way. Now, unless Mark Williams goes and elevates the Phoenix Suns and turns them into a contender in the West, at least to make the playoffs, then he would change my mind. But other than that, I'm good, bro. I'm good. Look, we have those trade assets still. Dalton Connect still. You're hearing the rumors around Dalton Connect. We still have the assets right now to go and make a deal. I would have loved it if we got Mark Williams. I liked him as a player in Charlotte, but he wasn't available much. That's the problem, right? And when that happens, it's like, what can you do, right? Damaged goods would have been a bad trade for us. That would have been a fireable offense. That would have been third strike for Rob Pelinka if we end up trading for Mark Williams and he doesn't get much PT because he's always hurt, right? Might as well go and re-sign Luol Deng again and just bench him again and let him rob us off the bench again. Let's see. D. Free says, I think if Austin was locked up on a $30 million deal for another 4 years and the team really need another playmaker, he would get back 3 first-round picks. I think if he was locked up on a $30 million deal for 4 years, he'd get 4 first-round picks. I do. I believe he's a 4 first-round pick type of player. Listen, if Mikal Bridges, who, by the way, outside of this playoff run, ain't run shit, was able to pull 5 first-round picks. All right. That's because he's a 3-and-D guy, but he's not a better scorer than Austin. Let's be honest. He's not. He's a better spot-up shooter, maybe. I'll give you that. But with that revamped jump shot, I don't know if I'm giving 5 first-round picks again. That was an overpay by the Knicks. And again, situation matters because it's all about need. But if he can bring in 5 first-round picks, then Austin could damn sure bring in 4, especially if he's under contract. Right now, because he's on an expiring deal, he can bring in 3. That's my only argument. That's why I said maybe 1 less than Desmond Bane because of that. He can definitely bring in 3 first-round picks. But again, it depends on the team who's willing to overpay and is what the value is to said team. I'm not trading him for anything less than 3 first-round picks or a starting caliber shooting guard who's a two-way player. Now, I would much rather hold on to Austin and have him come off the bench. My only concern is since he's in a contract year, he'll be disgruntled and probably leave in free agency if that happens. So he's probably going to start next year. Those are all things we have to consider on the trade front. Straga, how you doing, my friend? Thank you so much for the super chat. Good morning. Yes, the Lakers have made a trade just to bring you up to speed. They have traded up in the draft from 55 to 45. And there's rumors on Austin Reeves potentially being traded only because he rejected his $89 million extension that the Lakers offered earlier this week. However, again, that is the most the Lakers could have offered, and they're just letting him know that they're really interested in him. That's what I see this extension offer as. This is like, listen, Austin, we're putting all our chips to the middle of the table. This is all we can offer you. We get it if you reject this, but just letting you know that we love you and we want you here for the long haul. All right? Oh, you reject this? Okay. We'll talk again next summer. All right? That's the way these negotiations happen. It's good news that they want someone in this draft because they don't have a lot of second-round picks. I don't think they can even trade anymore. Yeah. Once we're hard capped at the second apron, right now we cannot do much. But, yeah, it is good. I'm very curious to see who we draft. And again, I'll be covering later on. But it is an exciting time, man. And I always like the draft. I knew the Lakers would trade up. I mentioned this yesterday. Don't be surprised the Lakers either trade for another pick or move up in the draft. And that's exactly what they did. So I will be live at 5 p.m. to break it all down, guys. Make sure you guys tap in both on playback and on here. And also you can't buy them without trading them in most cases, like this case today. Isn't that crazy? The new CBA came in and just fucked everything up for everybody, especially teams like the Lakers that just like to buy picks. It's really annoying, man. But hey, this is what the players agreed to, so we got to go with it. Am I worried that DFS will leave? A little bit, yeah. But, I also think he wants to be around for sure. But he just wants more money. DV says, yeah, I love Austin, but it is also has to be mentioned that a lot of what the value was is the fact that he was grossly underpaid too. I think teams want him, but there will be less of that want in him after an extension. I respectfully disagree. DV and me are on a disagree rant today. Listen, if you sign a player that's a 20-6 guy for the rest of his career at 30 to 40 million, again, 40 is a new 30 and 30 is a new 20, right? So he's right on where he's worth. There will be teams that want that. And Austin, on top of that, I feel like Austin Reeves could be a 25-point per game scorer if he was on a rebuilding team and he was a primary option, which makes his value even higher. A team like, let's just say, the Utah Jazz could really use somebody like Austin Reeves who can consistently put the ball in the basket and play make. Can you imagine him as a primary option? That number is definitely ballooning up. So you're telling me a 25-point per game scorer is not worth 4 first-round picks? I respectfully disagree, my friend. I love it, though. I love it. Do you have an example? Because I don't know what you're talking about. He's not doing anything abnormal. Wait, who are we talking about? Yeah, not sure. He said that's goalpost moving. Just because he's old doesn't mean that he's still one of the best players in the NBA. You don't just give up on one of the guys for no reason. Oh, you must be talking to somebody else. Yeah, definitely not me. All right. He said only Bronny James can save this franchise. Oh God, don't get me started, bro. Let's see. Would you trade for Rui, Gabe, a first and a 45 for RJ Barrett? I like RJ Barrett. I really do like RJ Barrett. But the thing is, do we really want to give up our, few assets, limited assets, for somebody who's not a big man when we already kind of are okay at the shooting guard? You know what I mean? So for those reasons, I'll say no. But I do like RJ Barrett, and it is a good trade on paper. It's just we're giving up size there. And the last thing we need to do, in my opinion, is to give up size. That's the last thing we need to do. But I do like, again, I like RJ Barrett on a different team. I think he would have been a great get, right? For sure. Blue Oak says, Dan already knows I mentioned trading LeBron, but he's definitely not hearing it. But it's the real issue. Rebuilding era is now. Well, Blue Oak, here's the thing, right? When you're a prestigious franchise like the Lakers, you don't trade LeBron. You just don't. Only way that even happens is if he requests a trade. That's it. And he won't do that because he can opt out and just leave somewhere, take a pay cut, and contend. LeBron really wanted to do that, he would do that. And you're right. He's 25-9. You do not trade LeBron. Just like you do not trade Kobe. You don't trade LeBron. Simple as that. That's a no-go, But I'll tell you this, Blue Oak. OKC is trending upwards, but they're still very beatable in my book, man. I still think, look at the 2 regular season matches we had versus them. The only reason they beat us in one is because they had to eject Luka on some BS, right? I think they got really lucky they didn't match up versus us. Although they do have the size advantage and they had the depth advantage. But I still feel like we had the star advantage. I think Luka and LeBron both being healthy would have gave them the business. With Austin Reeves being healthy as well, it would have been a different animal. Who we taking at 45? I wonder who they saw 10 spots up. I mentioned a couple names that are definitely intriguing, bro. There is definitely some names there. But we don't know. But Roko Zikarski, all right, he's 7'3", so keep an eye out for somebody like him. Ryan Kalbrenner out of Creighton is somebody who intrigues me. Rasheer Fleming, 7'5" wingspan for a 6'8" forward. Very physical players like that, right? Maxime Reynaud, center out of Stanford, with a 9'2" standing reach. So we need the size for now, size and raw talent, right? OKC is not prestigious. They only have 1 chip. Yeah, they're still gonna have to prove themselves, but they are trending up. I won't take that away from them, but I do feel like they're a problem that can be solved. The West is going to be tough anyways. It's not guaranteed that anybody makes it back to the finals. That'll be a problem for years. They'll be around. But come on. It's yeah. Then we give them a little too much credit. I think teams want that. I think less want him than before because of the price spike. Again, I'm going to disagree with that. If he's on the contract and he's at 27 years old, I think there will be some serious interest for Austin Reeves, D3. I do. I think him signing an extension and being locked up for the next 4 years will only up that value. I actually think him right now, who's in a contract year and is about to expire, I do believe maybe you get 1 less draft pick for him, assuming you wanted to trade him for draft picks. I don't see why the Lakers would trade him for draft picks, only in a package, potentially for another star, right? So that's what we've heard all along. They lucky Hallie got hurt. Well, nobody's lucky Hallie got hurt. It was just that was devastating, man. As NBA fans, that was just a devastator. I can't say they got lucky though because they won by a lot. So even if Hallie was healthy, it's not like they won by 5 points. We can't make that argument. Like Hallie would have made all the difference and they would have won the series, right? I still think it would have been a closer match, but I still think that I still had the Thunder, man. They always had that amazing run, especially at home, where they had only 2 losses, all right, at home in the playoffs. So they were having a dominant stretch. So the numbers still say OKC would have won. However, again, I think the Pacers exposed the fact that the Thunder can be beat. Because when I took that bet and I bet on the Thunder, is because I felt like they were unbeatable outside of maybe the Lakers or maybe like a team that had experienced vets and stars. Could have beat them, right? Could have taken advantage of their lack of experience. But talent-wise, they're top-notch and top tier. And they just acquired another year of experience. And now they have 1 finals under their belt. So they'll know what to expect the next time they get there, if they even get there, right? Next year. So, but again, let's see what the Lakers do this offseason. Let's hold our horses before we start penciling in people in the finals. He said, Blue Oak said, what happened to Halliburton was depressing. Man was injured, but still played. He looked so hurt when he fell. Bro, he gained the world's respect with the way he went out there and left it all on the court. You got to give him his props. Give that man his props. Give that man his props. But again, guys, tonight, the draft, the Lakers moved up. Will we have more activity? TBD. Stay tuned for that, guys. Make sure you guys tap in both on here. Make sure you listen to Kimmy Goat. All right. Please subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Double thumbs up down below. I do appreciate you guys. And yeah, I can't wait to break it down later on tonight. Final questions. Let's see. How can we get Sabonis? Great question, Josh. It's going to be really tough. First off, there's mixed reports. Well, some people are saying that they're ready to move off of Sabonis and start the full rebuild, and some are saying they're going to build around him. I don't think the Kings even know what they're doing, bro. The Kings have been in turmoil since Mike Bibby, Chris Webber, Bobby Jackson, and Doug Christie. All right, it's been that long since the Kings been relevant. They had one good year where they started lighting the beam and shit, and but they haven't been. They've only went downhill from then. Okay, and what can we get for Sabonis? I think it would take Austin for sure. It might take Rui as well, a first-round pick, and maybe even Dalton. It might take the whole enchilada to get somebody like that. And you know what? I think I'd be willing to do it because those other guys can be replaceable. Austin is the hardest one to replace. You need another ball handler. But if they throw in Malik Monk in that deal, done. I haven't made the money work. I haven't looked at the trade machine. But if the Kings wanted to trade Sabonis, I'd throw the whole enchilada at them. I'd give them Austin, Rui, whatever else it takes, cap fillers, the first-round picks, and bring back who? Bring back Malik Monk as well. This way, he will replace some of what we lose with Austin as far as ball handler. Right now, I much prefer Malik Monk off the bench, but he's a capable starter, right? Let's see here. Give Zach a guard, and they'll give up Sabonis. Well, we do have a guard by the name of Austin Reeves. He's an elite guard who can ball handle, play, make, score. And that's somebody we can start the conversation with for sure. So, well, yeah, but that's semantics. We are both saying he has a lot of value. I'm just saying if teams could choose to have a $15 million over 4 years versus 30 per year, they'd rather the 15. Well, yes, but that's not realistic. He was never going to re-sign an extension, for 4 years, $15 million. That is just, yeah, that would, especially after his ascension, right? So he's worth at least 30 mil. And remember, 30 is a new 20. So you're telling me that a 20-point per game scorer that averages around 6 assists isn't worth 20 million? Of course he is, right? With the CBA going up, though, 30 is a new 20 and 40 is a new 30. So, it's all about perspective. But you're right, D-Free. We both value Austin Reeves, and I hope he stays with us for a long time. But if he doesn't, Sabonis may be available. Bam Adebayo is a name that's a pipe dream right now, but if he's available, we'd swing for the fences with Austin as a primary trade chip. There's some names that really intrigue out there. But all right, guys, that is going to wrap it up. Please listen to Kimmy Goat. Appreciate you, Kimmy Goat. Much love. NBA draft starts today at 5. Do not miss out. Lakers do have a pick, 45th pick in the draft. We moved up. If you tuned in late, just to let you guys know. And I will be covering it both on here and over there. If you guys want to watch the actual draft, tune in and tap into playback. All right. If you guys want to watch me talk about the draft, you're in the right place. All right. So thank you guys again so much for tuning in. It's going to wrap it up for my breaking news video. Just to recap, Austin Reeves declined a contract extension. The Lakers traded up to get the 45th pick in the NBA draft, and Dorian Finney-Smith likely to opt out and command more money on the open market. That was essentially the basis of the video. But if you want to hear the details, you're just tuning in, make sure to rewind, hit the like button, all that good stuff. This video was brought to you by Prize Picks and Underdog, both promo code DTLF. So tap in, guys. Appreciate you guys so much. I'll see you guys later on for the draft, all right? Enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.